First, it is important to start out by making it clear that human trafficking is the second most pervasive crime in the world. People need to understand the magnitude of it. Second only to drug trafficking. And it affects hundreds of thousands of people and people all over mainstream America, where you would least expect it to be. I'm very proud that in Pennsylvania, over the last few years, we've passed significant human trafficking legislation. A comprehensive bill, a bill for posting of phone numbers to rescue victims of human trafficking. We have turned Pennsylvania from one of the least progressive states in the nation on human trafficking to one of the most progressive. And that's all great. But there's still another component that we have to pass, and that is our safe harbor bill. It is a bill that is, to me, inexplicably more controversial than the other two bills that we did. What it says essentially is that if you are arrested for prostitution as an underage person, you cannot be charged. You would be immune from a criminal charge on that. And the theory, of course, is that very few 14 and 15-year-olds have made a detailed analysis of various career options and decided that prostitution is really the best for them. In almost every case, these underage people are involved in this activity because they are threatened, because they are beaten, or because family members are threatened, or some other means of coercion by a trafficker. And these are victims. And it's not just me saying that they're victims. It is federal law says that they are victims, and state law already says that they are victims. And so, how do we charge the victim of a crime with that crime, or with a crime at all? In Pennsylvania, you cannot consent as a minor to sex with an adult under any circumstances. If you're under 16 years old, that is illegal. You can't do it. That's what statutory rape laws are, and so forth. So how can you legally be unable to consent to sex and then be charged with a crime for having sex with an adult if you legally can't consent to that? That makes no sense. That should not be legal, and we have to change that. Now, some people say, well, we need this law in order to coerce the victims of human trafficking to get treatment, or to testify against their trafficker. We don't do that in other contexts. We don't do that with adults who are the victims of, say, domestic violence and go back to their abuser or refuse to cooperate with law enforcement on their abuse. We don't charge them with the crime of being the victim of domestic violence in order to coerce them to cooperate. And we shouldn't be doing that with our children. And so we are gathered here today to talk about the importance of this, the injustice of the current law, and the need to provide safe harbor for these children so they can be dealt with appropriately and not have criminal records, not have to go through the criminal justice process, not have to go through the juvenile justice process. The criminals in this case are the traffickers. They're the ones that we need to focus on and stop making criminals out of our children, which is what current law does. So thank you all for coming. This is a fight we are going to win. But like all important fights, it's a process, and it takes effort. It doesn't happen on its own. So we all have to band together to make sure that this injustice is cured. With that.